I never knew that before I got this job. I do want to start, Bob, so you don't screw up some opening questions here. I want to introduce a couple of guests. I have a couple of our assistant coaches in the house. I hope they're here and hadn't left. Is Justin here? Okay, good. Justin Wilcox, our defensive coordinator. Justin recruits part of the Atlanta area. Of course, he's new to the Southeast, but he's no stranger to me. I played against his defenses 3 years in a row when he was at Boise State, and I told myself, I wish these guys would get out of this league, and if I ever go somewhere else, I'm going to go see what the heck they're doing. Well, I thought it'd be a lot easier just to bring him on our side, and so we're happy to have him here. Next to him is Lance Thompson. Lance, stand up. Championship season, and so I've known him. He does a great job. He also recruits this Atlanta area, and look, Bruce mentioned it. This is a critical area for our program. Atlanta, Georgia, 3 hours from Knoxville. I know this, the whole time I was on the other side, when Tennessee won, they had a lot of great players from Georgia. We started it on signing day, and we're going to keep pushing, and we're going to have bleed orange right into the state for a long time. Special guest. There's no way that I can come in to this state without my mother finding me. She is in the house. Barbara Dooley, where are you? Stand up. I never knew how she looked at orange. All these years she's been wearing the wrong color. You know, when I got the job, most of you're not up in Tennessee, so you're not listening to the airwaves up there, but literally the first month on the job, every time you turn on the radio, it's the Barbara Dooley show. Right? And I'm sitting there at one point, I'm going, I thought I got this job, not her, so I had to put a gag order on her. Enough, okay? Let me get settled in here. She violated it. I can't control her. I'm not responsible. She subscribes to the same theory as Bruce. Speak first, think later. But it's why everybody loves both of them. Both of my sisters are also here. I probably should introduce them first. Deanna and Denise, stand up. And Denise is her son, Joe. Joe, stand up, Joe. Joe's my only nephew who had the strength to say, I'm bleeding orange tonight, so I'm slowly converting the whole family. Right now, I'm a little disappointed my dad didn't show up, but just give me a little time. It's just like building a program. Are you ever going to get involved in this?
Keep going. What is the chance of getting your dad to wear orange?
No.
Rome wasn't built in a day, but I know he's thinking orange, and that's what matters.
How much do you think your mom has spent on orange clothing since you took the job? I heard she's been going through every department store between here and Knoxville.
Well, that's one of her great strengths, is an ability to spend money with a credit card. And so any excuse, she's finding it. But she is building her wardrobe. We don't have quite the right tint yet in the orange, but that comes through education, just like anything.
Yeah, and she'll be at every game, right?
She'll be there.
That'll work.
And she'll be the first one to criticize. But you're not allowed to. Only she can.
How was spring practice, Coach? I know you really were excited to finally get on the field.
Well, it was really therapeutic, and we probably should back up before we get to spring practice, and because let's face it, let's talk about the big orange elephant. We've had a tough 3 years. It's been a big bump in the road at Tennessee. There's not a lot of precedent for having 3 head coaches in 3 years, especially at a program that really took pride on its stability. This is a program that has incredible tradition. They're used to winning, and they're used to doing it with one guy for a long time. And I learned a lot about this place. You know, I knew Tennessee from the other side. I watched them as a little boy, take it to Georgia a lot. I played against Tennessee and got my tail whipped. I coached against Tennessee a lot. I got my tail whipped. So I know what Tennessee football looks like, but you really can't appreciate how special you guys are, especially when I walked into that program and Bruce was just coming out of the tough thing that he went through, football, going through one of its toughest 2-3 years in the history of its program. and to look at the support, the unconditional support of everybody. It's what makes this place unique. It's what makes all these alums have so much pride in Tennessee. So I'm happy to be a part of it, and I'm honored to be a part of it. Now, with that, when I got the job, we inherited a very fragile group of young men, very fragile, who felt betrayed by some coaches. They felt betrayed by an administration, fair or unfair. That's how they felt. And we couldn't change it. And I talked to them about, I never wanted their trust. I never was going to ask them to trust me because I felt like they had to earn it over time. But I sat down with them and we talked a lot about our brand. You know, this Power T, it talks. It's pretty strong everywhere you go. But we're trying to teach them about their personal brand and our brand as a football team. And I asked them, next fall and over the course of the next few years, when people hear Tennessee football or when they leave Neyland Stadium, what do you want them to say? What do you want them to say? Because before we do anything in our program, we got to get on the same page of who we should be. And don't tell me young people don't want discipline. First thing out of their mouth, coach, we want our fans to say that's a disciplined football team. That's a tough football team. They play with great effort. They play with great team spirit. Well, that right there told me a lot. That told me a lot. So we began the process of really redefining our culture. Because not only do we have a responsibility to represent you on the field in how we compete with the competitive spirit that we play with, but we have a responsibility to you to represent you off the field. We hadn't done our part on that, but I can assure you that we're putting a lot of structures in place to make sure that you guys are always proud to be involved. Knowing that there's going to be a slip up every now and then, but at the end of the day, you wear that orange with pride. That's where it all started.
Did you set a good foundation, you think, in spring?
I think it was a great start. In fact, I couldn't have left spring any happier. The first couple of weeks, you don't know who these guys are. Even though you're having these meetings, you don't know how good you are. You don't know what they can do. So you spend a lot of time getting to know your personnel, then getting to know the coaches. And then by the end of spring, I really felt like they have a good grasp of who we are, what the expectations are. I do know this. We have a lot of concerns. I mean, we have concerns in experience and we have concerns in depth. But the biggest, most important thing is we've established a foundation of how we're going to proceed.
Offensively, you got a lot of new faces. You got to rebuild the offensive line, new quarterback, new running back, a lot of places you got to shore up before the season opens.
Yeah, 5 new offensive linemen, a new quarterback, and a new running back, but other than that, we're in great shape on offense. I don't think that's ever happened in the history of college football, but sometimes being new and young, you don't know better, so I'm hoping they don't think too much out there. But the good news is we do have a lot of young talent. And I think the concerns that have had, or the depth problems that we have, I think we're going to go into next season with about 10 scholarships less than everybody, and that's just where we are. That's where we are. When you have this kind of attrition, you probably don't have the recruiting classes that you would normally have with some stability, but we have good young talent, and let me tell you, we're getting an amazing response from a lot of the high school talent out there right now. We're going to have some great classes looking ahead, so I've never felt better about the future, but knowing that there's always going to be some growing pains anytime you have this much inexperience.